wanting the most and we go to our significant others, or our significant others come to us, that's when you need it the most. You might be in the most not mood at all because you're feeling, however, not mood. You're not in the mood.
You might
whatsoever.
be in the most not mood.
Not sexy, feeling like, the entire day's been a mess, but that's when you need it the most, because if your significant other is coming to you and they're feeling a certain type of way, you're feeling a certain type of way, pushing that other person away is just going to create distance. It's just going to make you feel like you're not in this together. So
I let these haters keep hating, or support me. The riders keep riding, y'all fakers ignore me. 'Cause I'm a big man, getting my own. Taking up, can't take enough, stacking my dough. Shit serious, what would it take for your people to love me?
Welcome. We're back in the building for another episode of Shoes Off Talk.
Yes, sir.
How's everybody's week so far?
Good. Christy.
Yes.
Good to hear.
Always having a good week. Although I'm feeling the energy in this room is a little bit different today. It's a little bit tighter. Like you don't have your shoes off. Do we have your shoes off? Floyd's got his shoes off.
My laces are tied all the way to the top.
That's what I'm feeling.
Today.
That's what I'm feeling. The stuffy tightness in this room.
Boy.
Like need to loosen up the zippers. We gotta take off those shoes.
Go. The perfect segue into today's topic, talking about removing zippers and opening up zippers. We wanted to stay politically correct. We were gonna title the show "How Important Is a Healthy Sex Life in a Relationship?" But in a relationship, we'd like it to be a little deeper rooted than that. So we went with how important is intimacy in a relationship. And as simple as that sounds, it's lost in translation a lot of times in relationships, especially as the relationship gets older. It's something that should have a lot of attention thrown to it and what have you, but life happens, kids happen, different things happen, which later in the relationship it doesn't become as much of a importance or a priority, when in fact it should be the main priority. So we kind of wanted to dive into that and talk about how important intimacy is in a relationship, and that includes sex, but we all know that intimacy is such a broad scope of things as it pertains to sex and the emotional attachment and the spiritual attachment, and so intimacy is a big thing. On a scale of 1 to 10, Christy, what would you say intimacy is in a relationship?
You're gonna come to me first, huh? I'm probably the wrong person to ask about this because I
Can't ever just get
used to believe that you could base a relationship on sex.
Understand we're saying intimacy, right?
Yes, but I'm gonna go straight to sex.
Of course.
Straight to it.
Of course.
Don't
Wouldn't
cut
have
no
it any other
corners.
way,
Straight
Christy.
to it.
Yes, I'm going
There
straight
it is.
because sex makes you feel connected to that person regardless of what's going on in that relationship. You can have no trust and still you feel close to that person because you're being intimate with them, you're having sex with them. So you can base a relationship and have a completely toxic relationship for years based on the sex.
Floyd, do you have a more simplistic answer? No, but that's what we expect from Christy. Like, she's right in line with the expectations. So she's not too far left, well, yes, she is far left.
Thank you, Tim.
Floyd, what say you? On a
Well,
scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank intimacy?
I would
in a
say
relationship?
intimacy is a number 11.
Oh,
Woo! All right,
Floyd just
Floyd
went.
agrees with me.
Floyd for us
My
that are really.
my explanation about intimacy.
Your what?
Explanation.
Say that again.
Explanation.
Okay.
I said it right.
Not the first time.
Yes, I did.
The first time you left the L out. You said explanation. I heard it.
You don't need to be correcting. Go ahead,
Okay,
Floyd.
go ahead,
on.
Floyd.
So, intimacy is the essential in a relationship because it forms a connection and communication. It ensures that each person feels understood, allows them to be themselves, and ensure that each person gets the care and comfort that they need. Intimacy.
So, is there different levels of intimacy?
It is.
Of course.
Like, for example, I can show Christy intimacy. How? Let me show you.
Hold on.
I'm gonna demonstrate this.
This is a family show. Don't be
I'm gonna
doing
keep
no
it.
weird
I'm gonna keep
stuff.
it G. I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep it G.
G,
Okay.
Not even PG, just
All right.
G. So explain yourself. Are you saying that in a platonic friendship like you and Christy have, while you're in a relationship, you can show Christy intimacy?
Right. Example.
Please explain that.
Christy,
Floyd.
what is your favorite flower?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Oh my God. Whenever she starts
I love
that,
them
it's
all.
never going to be
My
a direct
children
answer.
have flower names.
See?
I have
See,
Lily
I
and I have a
told you.
Daisy. I can't just pick one. So,
Pick one.
well, if actually my favorite, I'd have to say plumeria because they smell so amazing.
Plumeria.
Plumeria.
Okay. That's not, I've never heard of the flower, but okay.
So now he knows very deep. I feel like intimately he knows me. He knows my favorite flower. I get it. I get it. Okay.
Y'all stretch.
I see
Y'all
what he's
reaching
doing.
right
I
now.
see what he's doing.
Y'all reaching right now. Okay. So, is that intimacy or is it that you know intimate details about her? Because those two are two different things.
It's all intimacy.
Nope.
Because
it's
see
not
how
all. It's not all.
when
It's
he-
not intimate. It's just because you know deep-rooted things about a person, that is not intimacy.
But he looked at me in my eyes when he was talking to me. He was connecting.
That
with
is
me.
seduction. That's seduction. I'm being serious. Like and it's important that we understand the difference between intimacy
But see, no,
and
Tim,
intimate.
you're going too far into this.
No.
Yes.
But you have to dive
Well,
into it for
I
people
get
to
that.
understand
But see-
what intimacy
But
is.
see, when you're looking at it at a outside of the kind of box kind of thing, when it's just simple.
No, it's not. We're talking about intimacy within a relationship, and that's kind of the biggest problem. Is people think that it's simple, and it's not. It's a very difficult task because not only do you need to know the intimate details about a person, you need to know their likes, their dislikes, what turns them on, what turns them off. So I can turn the lights off in this room and turn one light on, and it'd be an intimate setting.
Yes, but here's the
So
thing.
so that's why I'm trying to explain that intimacy and intimate is not the same thing.
But here's the thing. The more intimate details you know about someone, the more connected it makes you, and then you can do things to make them feel special throughout the relationship. Say Floyd and I were in a relationship, he would bring me plumerias, and and that would make me feel special, right? So in a relationship, even when a woman's in a kitchen coming up behind her and touching her on the small of her back, that makes her feel like you see her, you connect with her, you bringing her things that you know she likes. That's going to make her feel special. So the more details you know about someone, intimate details, the more special you make them feel.
Okay.
Because you make them feel seen, you make them feel heard.
But understand, we are prefacing this. The title of this is how important is intimacy in a relationship? We're not, and that's why I asked him. I said, are you talking that she is your platonic friend while you're in a
Because
relationship?
what Floyd's saying is any relationship has to have a level of intimacy. We're intimate with all of our friends.
See, you're saying two different things. You're saying intimate. Intimate is an action. Is I'm intimate with you, meaning that we connect. We're all intimate with each other because we have this show and we have a connection. I don't have intimacy with him. I don't have intimacy with you. So that's a whole nother level. That's why I'm saying, like, we got to be able to differentiate the two, because somebody listening to this, it says, all I need to do is know her flower or what she likes, or rub the small of her back. When it's so, as a friend, yes, that's cool. That's all you need to know to be intimate. But when we're talking within the confines of a relationship,
Okay, so
when we're talking within the confines of a relationship, that's just scratching the surface of it. That's when you're getting to know someone. But we're talking within a relationship. So the only comparison could be within a relationship. It can't be with platonic friends. So that's what we're trying to differentiate today, so
sex.
people understand.
So we're getting back to sex.
so that's
My
where
main point.
that's where you're going.
thought you
That's
were
why
trying
all
to-
this is going around.
She was like, I thought we was trying to get off of that.
Right.
But we're
We're
back
trying
to
to-
sex.
I thought we were trying to be
Right.
all
So
platonic
now-
conversation here.
That's what,
No, I wasn't throwing sex out the window, because sex is very important. But we wanted to dive to the deeper part of sex and go intimacy. Intimacy. See, we're being fancy today. Sex is the other show where we get your audience involved, because I know they got a lot to say.
well, see, when it comes to intimacy, though, intimacy and sex, from a smaller picture of it, it's the same thing. When it comes to on this category, when it comes to two partners together, right, and they feel close, right, both sides, intimacy and sex, both sides close. What else? And they share a sense of belonging. Okay, so both sides, intimacy, the sense of belonging. With sex, a sense of belonging. So basically, with intimacy and sex, has a same umbrella around it.
So even
kind of.
even with sex, would you have something to say, Chris?
Oh, well, I was just gonna say sex can bring us closer, make us feel like feel that intimacy with that person. But you can have sex and not have the intimacy
I
at
was
all.
just about to say that.
So it's not. I mean, I think a lot of people have sex to feel close to that person. But there are many relationships where, think about it, where you just want to get your rocks off and you don't care about the other person at all. You won't even make eye contact. They could put a paper bag over their head and you don't even care what they look like.
It's dark and everything.
So
Yes.
that means that there's no intimacy.
There's no intimacy. That's what
So
yes.
basically, kind of just going through the motions, and we all get at that point to where we just want to just blow our top off. That's
Right.
Do we?
yeah.
Maybe you're projecting.
You know what, Christy? We don't need you to act right today. But that is a very important point. Sex is a part of intimacy, but it can also be separate of intimacy. I think when you're trying to build on a relationship, it's important to have both the sex and the intimacy, because you can have intimacy with someone and not have sex with them. And so that's the reason why I kind of wanted to talk about this today, because a lot of that goes missing within a relationship because we get comfortable with each other. We think that we don't have to do the things that we did when we met these people, met your significant other, as the relationship goes on. And complacency, I hate complacency. It is the root of all evil in every aspect of your life, getting complacent. Yeah, we've been married for 10, 15 years, 20 years, and yeah, I may not be going anywhere, but that doesn't give you a right to treat me mediocrely, or treat our relationship mediocrely. And it's important that there's communication about that. Like, someone has to speak up when the intimacy kind of dies, because it's almost like when your intimacy starts going, other thoughts and other situations start creeping in. And so that's why it's important within a relationship to keep things new, different, and lively. Not for fear that that person is going to step outside of the relationship, but just the fact that you want to have that newness that continued newness. You want to have your partner know that whatever you're into, I'm into, kind of mentality. Is there a such thing? I think we talked about this before, as if your partner wants intimacy, and we did talk about this, and you've had like a long day. Is it okay for you, when your partner is wanting intimacy, for you to be like, you know what, I just ain't with it right now? Floyd.
So you're talking about sex.
Intimacy, whether it's touching, feeling, kissing, it ain't got to be just sex.
Well, because the one thing about it, if you're talking about, oh, I'm tired, I ain't feeling right, I got a headache. And
no, I can come in the house and I could be rubbing on you, and you may know what it's leading to. You may know what it's leading to, but if I'm just rubbing on you and I'm like, hey, babe, what's up? Like, you looking real good. I hit you on the butt and you're like, babe, so what's up? You're like, I just had a long day. I don't really feel like it.
That's when that little slap on the ass turns into a massage, and let me loosen that up for you. Let me make you feel better. Then you make her in the mood. That's what happens.
What she said, Floyd?
That's what she said.
So my take on that is, I don't care what's going on in my life and how stressed out my day is. If my significant other wants sex, we're going to have sex. If my significant other wants intimacy, we're going to have intimacy. Because a relationship is not about you. It's about you and your partner. And sometimes having that intimacy and that sex when you don't feel like it is the perfect remedy for what could be going on. And so I don't believe that we're taking days off. Like, if we're both tired and we just are not, that's different. But, and on the other hand, you don't know what your partner is going through. He or she may not be saying anything to you, and they're trying to get out of the funk. And when you give them that stiff arm, like, not right now, then, you don't know.
That
That Heisman stiff arm, like, back up, bro.
Yeah.
Back up, sis. I ain't with it right now. When you do that, you just don't know where that person is mentally, emotionally, and that could be the thing that kind of sends them over the edge. And so we have to be cognizant within a relationship that that we're not making a relationship about us. It should be dual, like. And that's the beautiful thing about a relationship, is that I don't need to be on top of my game every day. Mm-hmm. You don't need to be on top of your game every day. That's why we're a team. When I'm having, you get to a point in a relationship where you sense it. Mm-hmm. Like, I may ask you a question and you may not give me the answers that you usually give me, the long drawn out answers that you give. You may give me like one word answers. No. Yeah. Okay. Now I know something wrong. And so it's important to be attentive, within a relationship and have communication. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship is going to be perfect, but it'll get you over a lot of obstacles when you communicate and partner up on this thing. Because within the relationship, you're not going to make it through life as a couple if you don't have each other's back. Right.
And I think that when we are struggling the most and we go to our significant others, or our significant others come to us, that's when you need it the most. You might be in the most not mood at all because you're feeling, however, not mood. You're not in the mood.
You might
whatsoever.
be in the most not mood.
Not sexy, feeling like, the entire day's been a mess, but that's when you need it the most. Because if your significant other is coming to you and they're feeling a certain type of way, you're feeling a certain type of way, pushing that other person away is just going to create distance. It's just going to make you feel like you're not in this together. So even if you're feeling like shit, you are doing that to get, you can make each other feel better and be there for each, and nobody can make each other feel better, but you let that person know we're in this together. We're in this together, and you don't have to do this alone. When you push that person away, when you give them the stiff arm, as you like to say, it makes that person, whoever is struggling in the relationship at the moment, feel alone. And that's not why you're in a relationship. You're not in the relationship to be alone. You're in it to be together. So to have a partner in life, to go through these struggles together. So being able to have sex is a huge part of that, regardless, you know, being in the mood or not. I'm not saying like you have to have sex with me even when you're not in the mood, but you know, let's get there. Let's, even if it starts with, like we were talking about before, a massage. You know, what can I do to, you know, make you feel better, which in turn will lead to intimacy. So,
What say you, Floyd?
What do you think, Floyd?
You know,
Raw. Sounded like Rick Ross.
hey, oh, hey, what up? No, but I don't know. It gets to a point that over the years, you go through life, you pick up things here and there, you know, and you think that you're doing the right thing, okay, when it comes to intimacy. But then sometime, you know, you're like trying to figure things out, like, okay, is this the right way or is this the right way, you know? So, because if they don't tell you, oh, that's not working for me, you know, if they don't say nothing, then you don't
Right.
know,
Right.
you know. So then you still try to keep doing the same thing, same thing, and then you get the same result, right?
Right.
So then that automatically tell you, oh, it's not working. So let me flip it
So you're
up.
saying you have to have communication.
You have to have communication.
Yes. Not just about intimacy. You have to talk with your significant other
Sure.
about what you're feeling, because that will in turn turn into intimacy. You feel more connected with that person when you're communicating with them, and when you feel understood and heard.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we have someone who says, if you can have intimacy with anyone, it's a mental orgy. I'm all about the mental orgies. I feel like this is a mental orgy right here. That's what helps us to grow as people, to grow and learn and see things in a different light. I see now Floyd's viewpoint. I see Tim's viewpoint on things. Yeah, I'm all about the mental orgies, man. And he says, no, it's a no on the mental orgies. Yes, mental orgies is where it's at.
So, mental orgies. That's a topic for another day. You said something that really kind of hits home for a lot of people is the worst feeling in the world is to feel alone within a relationship. It is absolutely the worst feeling in the world.
Exactly.
To feel like you are lifing not only for yourself, for other people within, you know, that relationship, and to feel like you're doing it by yourself is the absolute worst feeling, because emotionally you don't have the support there, and physically you don't have the support there, and so it gets to be a load. It is the loneliest feeling. It's different when you're by yourself and you're single, and you have those moments of loneliness. You know that's gonna happen. You're gonna have those moments where life and things slow down, and you start reflecting on where you thought you would be at this point in your life, and you're not there for whatever reason. And it's not a negative thing, but we all, I don't care how strong you are, we all have those moments where we do those self-reflections about our life and where it's coming, where it's going. And so, but to know that you're in a committed relationship and to feel that same type of loneliness is a different kind of feel.
It's a very different type of feeling.
Yeah, it's a
You're
very,
not in a relationship to be alone. If you wanted to be alone, you would stay alone. You're in a relationship to have a partner in life, to feel like you have somebody who's got your back at all times, no matter what you're going through. You're not in a relationship to feel alone. So that's hard when you're in a relationship and you do feel alone. As someone says, no, we encourage each other. Sex can change your mood. Elaborate on that, if you will.
yes, elaborate on that. We'll It is. It is probably one of the loneliest feelings, um, to be in a relationship and feeling like you're doing life by yourself. Um, I think that's the time where a lot of things start creeping in, because the communication is not there with that person. And so now you start communicating with other people. And, depending on where your head and your mind and your heart is at, you get the right people saying the right things. You start really kind of sitting back looking at it like, is this really worth it? And so that's why it's important that intimacy is such a big part of your relationship, because intimacy opens up those lines of communication. It opens up that feeling of feeling a part of someone. That is, intimacy is that emotional connection that you gain with someone, and to be able to keep that new and different and exciting. It just breaks down a lot of barriers as it pertains to relationships. And so I guess if I had to give any advice to our listeners or anybody, is that, keep it weird. Keep it low key weird. Like do some off the wall stuff. Like we were just telling Christy, she talking about she didn't have no kids in the house, and was like, well, that's the perfect time to be swinging from the chandeliers. But I guess the oldest is in the house, so she can't swing from chandeliers.
I got my grandbaby, can't be swinging from the chandeliers.
But
because she'll be like, oh, that's how you do it.
Yeah, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
Only when there's no one in the house.
Yeah.
Come over to your house and swing on your chandeliers.
Shit, I ain't got none. There's a lot of problems at my house.
Yeah.
Ain't no swinging going on
I
over
can
there.
find a chandelier to swing. Is there a chandelier here? Do we have a chandelier somewhere in this place?
We
Maybe
talked
we'll
about
put
putting
one.
one. We
Maybe
talked about
we'll
putting
put
one
one.
in here.
I can swing on the chandeliers here. You don't even have to leave.
There you go. Get your practice on. But yeah, it's the relationships that I see that thrive, and understand that this is a lot of times looking from the outside in, because a lot of times looking from the outside in is not really what it really is. Exactly. We have this perception that people that we see out in public on social media, and they're going on vacation and doing all these amazing things, got all the fun toys and hobbies. We think that they're living a life, and behind closed doors, they're miserable. They're lonely within a relationship. And so you definitely have to let down the walls and not be so robotic in relationships. You have to, like I said, you have to be willing to try weird stuff. Even if you try it and just bust out laughing about it. Like, it's just, it's better to have done it and not like it than to not do it at all and regret not trying it.
Right.
I think it's definitely important to be open in a relationship, no matter
You say have
what.
an open relationship.
Be open in a relationship.
I know.
To try new things all the time. To try new things with your partner. Have new experiences. Like you said, even if you don't like it, we tried this together. We can laugh about it and say, remember that one time? That's something that that's always opening you up to new experiences.
Those are those
broadening your
experiences.
horizons.
That you look back on later in life and be like, I tried that.
You know what? And I want to, I don't know if this is what you meant. Someone said, intimacy channel in a proper way. It's an infinite energy that never stops, mental and physical. I want to go a little deeper on that, because we're talking about intimacy. I'm going to sex. Sex is the most powerful energy that we create. It's the most powerful energy. And so many people just give it away, and they just want to get their rocks off, like you said. It needs to be channeled, like this person said, channeled towards something, especially if you're in a relationship, towards building together. What is this that we want to create? What do we want to build together? Now, when you're first in a relationship, you're creating babies. That's how powerful that energy is. You actually create another human life with that energy. We'll take that energy and create something else with it. Create whatever it is you want to manifest in life, what you want to create with your significant other. Like, we are more powerful together than we are alone. So you have this partner, you're on the same path, the same journey, the same mindset. Create something with it. Don't just waste that energy. You have to channel it. Otherwise, you just fling in this energy everywhere, and it's going everywhere, and you don't know.
A lot of y'all out there flinging energy.
energy.
You better quit flinging it.
I can
Mess
feel
around
it.
and get
I can
somebody,
feel it. I can walk
catch
by and
somebody
feel
in the
it.
eye
Woo!
flinging that energy all over the place. Hey,
All that
Feel that
energy.
energy.
all that energy built up. Hercules.
Where did that come from? I just got hit.
Mess around and blow
I got
somebody's
a lot
top
of
off.
energy.
All right, Floyd. All right, Floyd over here. I got a lot of energy. All right. Well, that's your wife's responsibility to get rid of some of that energy. Okay. So,
Oh, someone says no weird needed when it's the real deal. And I agree with that too, because when you have such a strong connection, everything is amazing. Everything's a new experience. Everything you're creating together is magic. So you don't have to be like, well, let's try something different. Let's try to find something crazy and weird to do today. You don't have to do that, because it just comes naturally. Like, hey, you know.
Not always. Not always. If I've been in a relationship for 10 or 15 years, I'm pretty much have tried everything. And then either the wife or the husband sees something or hears something, is like, you know what? We haven't tried that. And the reason why I use the word weird is because it's out of the box. It's not your norm. Like, you have ventured so far out of your box to where it's low-key weird. Mm-hmm. Like, it's low-key weird. Like, you may have even said it in the past, knowing somebody else do it. It's like, oh, that's weird. And now you're in a situation like you're trying to figure out something different to do, and you have ventured on the weird side. And I use the word weird because it makes it even that much more exciting. Like, and it makes the person that is doing it feel like, okay, I really stepped out the box. This is something I said I would never, ever, ever, ever do. And I'm doing it. But like you said, I'm willing to do that and step outside of that box and be weird because the person that I'm with makes me that much more comfortable with doing it. You know what I'm saying?
And that's where it starts, though.
Exactly. And it's important to keep those strong roots in your relationship to where you have your significant other willing to step out on that limb and let down those walls that have been barriers for so long. And, you know, we all get into relationships, and after a while you just start doing the bare minimums, you know, especially when you know it's like, all right, let's go ahead and get it, and it's done, and it's like, all right, it's gotta be exciting, man. I know a lot of relationships that, like you said, and it's important. You said something earlier, and I've said this. I know people that cannot stand each other, but they have amazing sex. That's the one thing to keep them tied to each other. That, like, they cannot stand the sight of each other, but the sex is amazing. And that's the one thing that they and they get to a point to where we could never, ever, ever be in a relationship, like, ever. But as long as I'm single and you're single, we can. I
wasn't talking about that.
Let's get it on.
But in a relationship, you can actually have a relationship where there's no intimacy and pure sex, but that's holding the relationship together. You live together, have kids together. You know, you have like a marriage, but there is no intimacy in that marriage. It's purely sex that's holding that together. And
that, I mean, are you saying that that's right or wrong?
No, I'm just saying every relationship is different. And
that's
I also want to.
That's not the idea of a relationship, though. If the only time we're really getting along and we are like in a great space is when we're having sex, then you're not in a relationship. You're in a business transaction.
But who are you to judge someone else's relationship? If
but
that's
not,
what
that
where
is
they
not,
are at this place in their life.
So what happens when that person can no longer have sex for medical reasons? What now is the relationship built on? Well, if it's purely sex. So that's why I said you cannot have a relationship and have it based on sex. As much as I love sex and I would like to agree with it.
You can.
That's
You
a
can.
arrangement. That's not a relationship. That's an arrangement. Like she said, I just need to get my rocks off.
I didn't say it was right. I said you can. You can have a relationship like that.
Stop
And
calling it. It's not a relationship.
it is.
You're confusing our viewers, Christy.
Oh goodness. Okay, but
We go from telling people to have intimacy, and Christy over here going against the grain. Oh, you can have a relationship, just have it be about sex. You ain't got to be nothing else.
Just do
Y'all
sex.
ain't even got to like each other.
Just do sex. That's
Just
it.
have sex. You got all these people just angry in the household, but have great sex.
You be like, oh, my foot hurt. Just have sex.
just have
Yeah.
sex. It'll make
Put
it
some
better.
Robitussin on it.
You be all right.
Oh, my neck hurt. Put some tussin on it.
Ben Gay, where's that Ben
Christy is
Gay
so
at?
funny. See, her followers are egging her on. Like, soon as they say something, Chrissy changed all of her views on shit. Like, yep, I agree. Just
Hey, I did not say I agree. I said I've been there in my life where I've had those, and I thought that was okay. And at that time of my life, it did work. It worked for whatever purposes I needed to go through. Ended up being completely tragic, but it's at that point in my life, I thought I could be with that person forever, only having not having that intimacy.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what I was missing. That's the thing. I felt close to that person every time we had sex. I didn't know that there was a deeper level to life, to being with a person. So you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So, and I
Life
also want to point out that we cannot put our happiness on others. We cannot put it on our significant other. We have to find happiness within ourselves.
Dang it,
Before we
Christy,
project that.
you're messing up the program. That was the next. I just put it in my phone. The next topic was: is somebody else responsible for your happiness?
Okay, so to be continued.
No, she's not. We're not finishing this.
Sorry.
Get off my topic I just created.
Yes. So I think a lot of people get into relationships to have them complete them, or it's because I feel good when I'm around them and I want to be happy and I feel happy when they're around me. And then you feel disappointment when all of a sudden that feeling goes away. Well, guess what? It's not them. It's you. Mm-hmm. You will never be happy in a relationship if you are not happy with yourself. You can't try to find that in a partner. So find happiness within yourself.
It's not that person's responsibility.
Yes, it's not that person's responsibility. You need to find that within yourself.
But you hear it all the time. You hear people say, "Oh, I want to find that person that makes me happy." Okay,
No,
that is
you make yourself happy.
You're setting yourself up for the ultimate failure
And
if you are looking for someone else to make you happy.
There are
that's
so
not their
many
responsibility.
people that are like miserable human beings, and you see them. I see it all the time. Like you tend to, it's not saying all men, but men tend to be the crankier. They take the weight of the world on their on their shoulders. So they tend to, get frustrated quicker, or they want to leave a place. Like, I'm done with this place. It's, too crowded. Let's leave. And they're the ones that, like, get antsier.
How they do it again?
Let's leave. They're antsier. So men, they tend to, like, have a short fuse. There's some women that do too, but men more so in a relationship, they're the ones that will be like, I'm done. Let's go. Let's leave this place. Or, so
You know why that is? Because men aren't as outspoken. They don't really talk about their feelings, so they keep a lot of stuff bottled up, and it'll bottle up to the point to where, because they're not talking about it, to where they just get to a point to where it's almost like putting a cap on a soda and shaking it up. At some point you're going to release that cap and it's going to explode. And so that's why it's important for men to communicate their feelings and talk about things, because you let that stuff sit and build up, you'll explode.
Right.
And
right,
it usually doesn't come out the right way.
It doesn't. But what I'm referring to is I see these men with that energy, and then very subdued women that are trying to make so badly, honey, what can I do? What can I do? And then when the relationship falls apart, I don't know what I could have done to help. I don't know how I could have made him happy. And it's like, girl, guy, whoever, it's not your responsibility. He's going to be a miserable human being in every relationship he has because he couldn't find happiness within himself. You can't take that responsibility, that job on yourself to always be like, what can I do for you to make you happy?
Yep.
Of course, in a relationship, you want
because what ends up happening is you become an enabler.
Yeah.
Now, when that person knows that you think like that and you're set up like that, they'll be dependent on you to bring that out of them all the time.
Right.
When all you're doing is become an enabler, because it's going to come a time where that's going to weigh on you. You're going to get tired of feeling like almost like you're raising a kid.
Right. And it's unrealistic expectations. And yes, raising a kid, that's a good point, because a lot of women can do that because most part, women are very nurturing. And so we take a man on as our child. Like, well, you know, what can I make you? What can I do for you? I know there's men that's like Floyd, that's like, I cook for myself. But there's a lot of women that tend to their men like that. And so then when a child comes into the life and the man is no longer getting that, it destroys them. It destroys the relationship, because he's like, wait a second, why aren't you doing this stuff for me? She's like, well, I'm busy with the baby. You're no longer the baby.
It may never be brought up in that way. It may be brought up in other ways, like him acting out. And if he's not a communicator, you'll never know what's going on.
Right.
But the issue is now he's not getting the attention that he used to get. But
He's not the baby anymore.
He will never say that, because one, that's his child, and his pride won't let him do that because he knows how that looks. So it'll be deflection. It'll be other things that you do. You're like, why is this small thing I'm doing setting him off?
Yeah.
That's not the problem. That other thing is the problem. And so that's why, like you said, it's important to not start habits and things that you know you can't continue to do. And also, you have to know what your responsibility is within a relationship, and it's not to make somebody happy. It's not. If they come in a relationship and they are accustomed to people making them happy, that expectation is going to be on you. And if you continue that, then you're starting a trend that even if you don't break the trend or break the cycle, that's going to keep going on in this guy's life, and that expectation will be there in every relationship they get in.
Right.
So at some point, somebody has to say, no, that's not my job. My job is not to make you happy. Your job is to make you happy.
Right.
Because if I don't make you happy like you want me to be, then you're going to be upset with me.
Right.
And so, and that's setting those false expectations that just don't need to be there in a relationship. There's enough things that as a couple that each person has to bring to the table. That is the thing that nobody should have to bring to the table as far as creating doing something for somebody that should be self-done.
And yes, and what I realized too is not everybody wants to be happy. Some people want to have to live in that misery for whatever reason, so that they can experience a new way of life, a new way of compassion, understanding. So we have to, going through yoga has taught me that let people experience and feel whatever they're feeling, no matter what. You can't always, because I'm a person who wants people to be happy around me all the time. I'm like, happy, come on, smile, what do we do? You know, be happy. And I had to realize that, no, feel what you feel. If that's not happy, that's okay. Some people need to live in their misery for a while. I needed to live in my misery for a while after my divorce. I needed to live in that, marinate it, feel what I had to feel so I could have a deeper compassion and understanding for others in similar situations. Somebody said, go to Sixth. There's real love over there. I don't know what that means. If anybody knows what Sixth is.
I have no idea. That's code for something. But, and that's another reason why, jumping in and out of relationships before you have had that time to heal and to evaluate your life is important, that you don't do that consistently. You leave a relationship and next week you're in another relationship, and then relationship after that is like, you have to take, like Chrissy said, you have to take that time to heal, to get a firm understanding of what you did right, what you did wrong in a relationship, how to make yourself a better person. And your job is not to fit the mold of what someone else is expecting of you. Your job is to be genuinely you, authentically you, and fit like a puzzle piece with someone that, you know, is meant for you to be with. And I'll say this every time, is just be careful of having a type. When you pigeonhole yourself into having a type, you really overlook what could be meant for you. Today's topic
Tim,
was...
sometimes you got to feel big arms around you. I'm sorry.
Christy is our... She has Tourette moments, y'all. I just want y'all to know.
Say not
like
to have a
she's
type.
just-
Hey, I like big arms. I like to feel small.
Here she go. Christy ain't gonna
sorry.
act right for nothing in the world. That's why we trying to get her check every month. I have this doctor that I'm trying to get her to go see, and she doesn't have to act any different than what she already acts. Just go and act like that, and he is gonna give you a check every month for the rest of your life. Like, you don't have to have no follow-up evaluations. You go in there acting just like you act. He's going to sign a check over, and every month you'll have a direct deposit. It's called a crazy check. You'll have that check every month, right on time. Yeah,
Straightforward.
She's our special host, y'all. We love her.
Yes.
We appreciate you guys tuning in today. Today was another important topic that I felt like we needed to shed some light on. And understand this, like when we talk and we go back and forth, these are just our express views on a certain topic. It's not saying that that's Bible or it's facts. These are just our life experiences. What you take from these conversations, apply it to your life as you see fit, as it's applicable to what you're going through. And understand that this is strictly our views. We are not doctors. We're not psychologists. But we have lived a long time, and we've experienced a lot of things, and that's the reason why we love our platform, because it gives us the opportunity to share some of these thoughts and different things. But we will see you guys Saturday at 5 o'clock. Do we have any guests coming on Saturday? No guests on Saturday? Okay. So, well, sometimes we have impromptu guests, but no guests slated for Saturday. But we'll be putting out the topic, and if you guys have any topics that you want to discuss, we can always plug it in, regardless of whether or not we have a topic already situated for that day. If there's something you want to talk about or something you want to hear, even if it's a past show that we talked about something and we didn't dive as far as you needed us to dive in, just hit us up, DM us. Like I said, we appreciate the comments, both negative and positive, because that's the only way we're going to hit that mark. We appreciate you guys giving us an inkling of your time today. We appreciate it. We love you. And we pray that you guys have a blessed rest of your week going into your weekend. And how we end all shows: love, peace, and soul.